I sent out two variation line settings and high set locations of my system to truly stand that time travel is possible in all set location system. It's very powerful how you really get in position locations. If you see it on TikTok, you'll see that one photo is taken in set location setting. Now it sees the center calculation system of me in the now. Don't get confused with line interference. Every time you see something in variations of you in set location system, you're seeing yourself in the future line, but in the past line. So you see a younger version of me, which is in the back, and then you see me as now, right? So in that set location system, I was 35 in that picture, which is amazing, coming in that settings and high calculation stream location system. So it's just showing you where you can actually set your connections where you are in provision. So it's very powerful when you actually see yourself going through time travel to set locations. It's pretty incredible how you see yourself. So in that system location settings, we come in and track communications. And track communications is all about understanding how to use the energy lines. We have an energy wash coming in high setting. Cosmic line stream, that's redirect signal location system. Generally, space-time is going to go through 9 sectors lines of vectors through 1 pi. That's going to resurface in set location at travel lines in set location high setting. Directing signals, high position to track communication with systems. This opens up all levels of travel calculation setting in the radar system, okay? So it's all about understanding the infusion line stream and your redirect location to its setting. It's all about understanding how to use the cosmic self of set location to its systems. Okay, this opens up all channel stream locations. All right. So, in that position of track line, it's all about understanding where it's coming into mechanisms, high setting, and track communications. Directing panels, directing line settings, and travel calculations. This symbolisms its line set locations into high setting. So in travel communication, in position line settings, now I did a 4 to C line rotation in position of track communications. So it's really understand how you see yourself all through dimensional door. Remember we set that line communications? You see the calculation settings into all the lines of teleportation locations. The crevice line, strain lines, the earth reception settings, and you see your avatar going in positions to its travel locations. All through dimensional door through light. Okay? So when we get into that position line track line, we have to recognize time positions because the sequence location is settings into your connections of your avatar has to really understand the calculations to its letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Because the track communication line comes into high position lines into an energy wash. So that's 9 center line, 9 equals lines of tri. And the tri lines equal lines of calculations in box. Triangulation is center position locations in pi. And center line positions all levels of travel calculations. Okay? In that system location setting in direct signal. Crosses lines of pi calculation line, directing position locations in the center of operation. Okay? So this signifies the line setting high position locations into all levels of channel stream location. Okay? So we really have to identify the cycle lines and circle line rotation centers in 3 spot line center locations of dimensions of time in sequence. Okay? Recognition timeline square is direct signal. And platitude line rotation interference is crossing line division in set positions of operation. So that's 2 pi generation stream locations in setting. Okay? Now in that track communication is really understand how to open up the sequence pattern. And this puts position location to its operation surface in high setting. Okay? Now it's all levels of travel setting and high position location to its measure. This put pi position location in your travel lines. But it's very powerful when you come into your pi calculation location to its settings in direct signal. Okay? So if we go through line streams, okay, and position location at 3 track lines of pi in recognition of time sequence. Okay? Now time sequence lines is center line interference of 1 clock location system. So as a 24-hour line, the 24-hour line center line system has a 12-line signal, 12-line division, 12-line rotations, and set lines of triangulation at 3 set location setting in the position of center. This operates the surface location of systems and travels. Recognition of timelines, time sequence. Okay. So it's position locations, how you use your energy lights, and travel calculation, setting, and directions. Okay. Now in signal line, we really understand how to get into modification lines in pie charts. Really understanding how to redirect signal line position location of systems. So this is where we cross through stream lines and set position locations into a spherical line sphere in line stream and direct signal. It's very complicated. Okay. So in that track line communication system, it becomes an indication to an indicator. All right. So it comes in line set location in your system. Because the pi lines has 3 lines of dimension line, lock line screens, and position location to its settings and all position of operation. Okay. So you all have to recognize how to use the 9 line center lines because it equalizes its correlation system. So 9 equals 4 equals 4. So that's 4 lines, 2 generation streamline condition settings and track communications in 1 solar line setting in center position. Okay. So you get into 2 solar stream locations, 1 line signal, okay, into modifications, and another modification line stream and center calculations of directions. Now in that direct signal, we come into the center position locations in a high calculation. Okay. So this goes into the 9 lines, energy wash line, stream lines, correlation setting, indirect signal, and position location and measure. See the dome? It's very complicated. So in that center line position location, it allows its channel lines, and the channel line splits lines and center position locations of pi, puts position of track communication and setting. Now in direct signal, we change the correlation setting and directions in 3-point systems. Okay. So we get 1 line into 2 into 3 set locations. Okay. Now it's all about understanding how to set position locations into another pi. Okay, so you really have to understand how to use your pie charts in your infinity line cycle because it sets position location in your settings. So we go into the center line communication and center directions. Now in direct signal, you have to really understand how to use the signal panels. Now we color in the line stream. Okay, and remember, we're going through set position of travels, redirecting signal lines into your energy wash that comes into a cosmic stream. Okay, so this is hieroglyphic location settings and directions, and astrologicals of channel lines and security measure. This track line set location settings and 2 positions of operation. Now, the operation line stream interference, we take line position locations and setting and 2 track communications, right? And 3 in center position, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, because that's where you are in 8 line setting. And you're also in 8 line position locations and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 line set location setting directions. So that's 2 8 lines of channel. So that's 8 signature, 8 panels of operation line condition setting directions. It's very complicated how you set these things up in an equation, right? Screenshot that. It's very powerful. You see location to its settings. That's how you go through an energy wash of set location. All right, in channel position of procedure, it's really understand how to use all modification line settings and directions to all set location. Okay. You guys have to recognize your pie charts and how to use it. So the 8 central line centers, circle lines of 8 and circle lines of 8 in set location of travel settings. Now directing signal line interference sets position locations into 4. So the 1 equals lines of 4, 4 changes line centers, overcross lines of 3 in set locations, 7 in center of operation line. This opens up a higher streamline condition setting into a dome line and a streamline as set locations and position. See that solar graph line? Directing line signals of panels and operation location to a setting. So in that direct signal, we have to learn how to use the calculations to a system, how to use the cosmic line stream in direct signal to its set locations, right? Because the thing is, the 9 lines of trimesters is factoring over line set locations and manufacturing. Okay, so it's all about understanding how to use the operation surface set location system to your pie charts of set location. Okay, it's very powerful when you set these things up all through pi. Okay. So redirecting signals, we go around the line setting in one line position of one track. It's a location of clock line. That rotates its surface into the opposite direct location setting and directs signal. So centering communication line directions, we open up the channel stream. So that redirects pi in one line setting to two lines into flux capacitor. Now you need a flux capacitor because it changes its line signals of operation locations of setting. Now in that set line calculation setting, we cross the line, right? Instead of position locations, water containment line stream, sending its direction signals in position locations. See the water line? That's the water communications of setting. It's going very fast, and there's a lot of calculation lines that are off position of traction. So it comes into high lines of symbolism. Now the symbolism comes into all levels of modules. How to use the module line setting in travel calculation line setting is redirecting panels into its position locations. So we take the one line setting and we change it to the upper line. That redirects signals inside location of travel lines in position of setting locations. All right. Now in that signal line, we come into two panels. That two panel line interference puts position of delta line waves and set lines of correlation setting in direct signal of position. Now in that signal line rotation interference, we set up the zero line operation. This course its channel into a rainbow line calculation setting and redirect signals in set locations. Very powerful in set locations. Now in position of track line, because I'm going so fast in set line calculation line directions, it's all about basically understanding the alphabetical line allocation in your system through your rainbow graphs. We understand how to use it through provision because it opens all signals in adaptation surface. The adaptation surface opens up calculation line settings and direct signal at set locations. Okay. So in that track communication lines, we open up another circle line rotation. This grounds its surface lines in position locations and keeps it an open signal. All right there. All right. Directing lines of calculation line directions in all set locations to its system. Okay. Now, to set up an energy line wash is really recognizing your settings and how you use your tracker locations. You have to really understand how to cleanse the calculations of geometric operation design sequence. It puts panels correlation settings. So you have the water containment lines in position of frame. Okay. So that channels its line stream in a line rotation interference. So we set up the energy wash line and it rotates the surface set location system into the center lines of communications. 8 and 6 in position locations in the line setting and high position of traction. Okay. Now in setting line rotations, we change the direction signals. Okay, let's go into line graph screens here. In line position locations, operation surface. Okay. So it's very complicated if you look at it really, really close, but you can actually see the travel line settings out. It sets direct location system to your line settings, your information panels, and your dome line rotations, your synchronous lines, your project location lights, and direct signals. So you got the sun lines and the moon line and operation surface. You're always working with track communication setting and direct signal at set locations. Okay, so understand how to use it through all set location to its panels. This direct signal line and rotation in all direct signals is set location to its cosmic wash of high set location. Okay. Now in that operation line stream, we go into the opposite direction settings. Okay, because remember you got to go through calculation lines. So that's one lines of 3 lines of 4 sets and positions in box waiting signal in set locations. Right. And then we have the channel line streamline. So we set 4 lines because you're always working with 7 in set location lines. Your body's water, equal lines of 3 lines at the top line locations. So we use a triangulation line set to 3 set line condition, masculine and femininity, because that's where you guys are in all these locations. So we cross the line stream into 1, 2, 3, and position of track communications and center line settings. It's very powerful. You see location to its systems, how it's set up, position of traction. Okay, all through travel locations. Okay, but look at the detail line stream. Look at the solar graph line set locations. Look at the energy wash. All right, look at the 4 lines, the 3 lines of set location, your 7 digital code line stream locations. Look at the mechanism line setting, the solar graph line calculation setting, your human residence. You got weighted central lines of alpha, position of delta, and calculation setting lines and ground lines. And a line center line interference would come in at theta stream, records of time sequence. Track lines of correlation setting, indirect signals, line signature, line stream location system, and position locations in the bottom line center rotation. Okay. It's all set up. It's all set up. Okay. So we're going to weight that on signal, and we're going to add signal line stream locations. Now, when you come into formula, you have to really understand how to set position location of point systems. I really want you guys to understand how to use your dimensional line settings. Understand how to use the dimensional setting is how to vortex to one position to another. Okay, it's like the picture frame line. This is me in position. Right? That's me right there, right? Sitting there. But that's me right here in position in set locations. Right? So there's the portal in set location. Right? Coming out of that line setting. So in position locations, this is how it's set up. Zero line, ground line, records of center line, in position location to a system, and operation set location. Now in direct signals, you have to understand how to use the flux or capacitor line set location of travel settings and directions. Now that direct signals, okay, see electron line set locations. Now this opens up your infinity in position your infinity 8 line rotation, center line connectionized system. All right, travels lines, signal lines, and 2-track communications. Okay, so in that track line interference, it opens up a dimensional line, okay, into another dimensional space of time. Okay, so that's how I'm here and that's how I'm there. Okay, here and there are two different things because it's two different dimensions, two different variations. One, I'm wearing a white shirt, and in the back, I'm wearing a calculations line center location of brown. But I'm lines of 35 years old in position of the back, and position of track lines, I'm actually 54 in center communication. There I'm 35, there I'm 54. Two different dimensions of variations. Now the subconscious line setting sets line communications. So that splits its anomalies in 2-track communications of dimensions. So it center lines its communication of its portal set location. Okay? So you have to really understand how to set these things up through equation, how to really understand how to vortex, time jump, time leap, okay, how to go through position locations to different dimension settings in the same position of center, or two different space line calculations of dimensional settings, right? So it's, I'm here, but I'm also back there, right? And I'm wearing a different t-shirt in set location, but it's still a version of me, right? Just a younger version of me. But that doesn't mean I'm actually in time, in back of space. I'm in the position of future in time of space. You're just seeing a younger version of me as a location through perception. So don't get confused that anomaly when you understand the calculation setting, when you have two split anomalies of subconscious locations. So you can have your younger version in the past line, and you can have your future version in the center line. And then you can have your adaptation future system into high calculation settings. So you can have 3 versions of yourself in the same time zone set locations, or 3 different time zone locations. But then you have to learn how to use the paradox, the paradigm, the polar shift, the polarity shifts. All these are set location system, right? To your reality, a set location. Okay. That's exactly how you get from one place to another in set location. Okay, it's very interesting set locations. Check out the TikTok video. It's very powerful how I go through 2 dimensions of 2 variations of me, 2 versions of me, one with glasses and one without. Okay, so in that direction, we come back and then line signal in center positions to its operation. Okay, it's amazing how we set up the energy wash line set location of your systems. Look at all the detailed line stream locations, how it sets up in the high set location and settings, right? It's going to take you guys a while because I'm traveling faster more. So I'm kind of like more like a blip on the screen now, because now you're seeing more versions of me, but in reality, how it's possible you can actually see two versions of me in the same photo. One photo, two versions of me. That's time travel. Okay. So in that position locations, we come in this signal. Okay, now we have a formulation. Two bracket lines of zero lines, equal line connection setting, 86 position travels, right? So phenomena lines in position sequence. This is where it goes position of travel settings in point system. Center line setting of circle lines and center position location to its calculation stream locations. Okay, so we all understand how the cross lines of zero lines of operation of center position, because it's a zero line calculation setting in direct signal. It's like having a photo data of another version of self in the center point. Exactly. That's exactly what it is, Prismore. So it's kind of like you're seeing yourself in a different version, okay, in the same timeline or in a different timeline. See, the same version in the same timeline is me wearing the same shirt, okay? So in that photo, you see me wearing, in the front view, wearing a white shirt. Now, if you saw me in the back view wearing the white shirt, but a younger version, that's the same timeline, just different variation of me. That's a younger version, but it's in position locations of perception. So it's very complicated, right? But I was in two different variations of different time zones, two different universes, guys, of space and time. A younger version of me and a now version of me in set location, okay? Which is very powerful in set locations. All right, so center line calculation is zero lines, comes in setting. Now, when we get equal line calculations, we bracket the 86 because it's lines of ozone line rotations in one positions. Okay. So we go into the box line and we go into triangle line and we go into the box line rotations. We go into triangulation and we go into the box line conditions and we go into the triangulations into the box location system and travel calculations. It's very complicated stuff. The reason why I use box and triangles for you guys is because that's where you are in set location setting. You're not in this location yet. That is a box, but this is what you're coming into, not this. So you have to really understand the open sequence locations. That's a box, but it's open through sequence in a corner. If it's open through a corner, that means I can go through another portal communication dimensions and set location travels and set line and position. If it's closed in a box line rotation inference, I can't travel through locations. I can only use telepathy signatures to triangulations to a box location. But I stay in the time zone. So it's really interesting when you look location settings, how you actually can vortex. Vortex and time travel are two different variations. Vortexing is basically like Jumper. You ever seen Jumper with Hayden Christensen? Watch it on Netflix if you have it, location settings. It's about a guy, basically, he goes through levels of ice and he basically gets in like instead of drowning and he ends up in the library. He just poof, you know, he relives, he's reborn, and he realizes he has a correlation setting of jumping from one place to another. So jump scarring is basically setting your system, and you see yourself going from here and then, right? That's jump scar, right? That's jumping. You're time jumping, but you're in the same version of you. Nothing's changed. This is a different dimension. This is the same dimension. See, this is the version I'm at. But if I take my glasses off, I'm in a different dimension of time. Okay. But see, the thing is, you guys have to understand how this is set up. If I'm wearing the same clothes, I'm in the same space. If I'm wearing different clothes, I'm in a different universe of dimension because it's a younger version. So really understand how that process is so powerful when you come to calculation streamline. It's that location system all through timeline sequence. So in direct signal, it's that location system. We're all position of track lines in settings, okay, through 86 locations, which is 8 lines in infinity and 6 in throat line rotations in track communications. And we come to all formation lines of a cosmic stream of an energy wash, high calculation line direct signals, and 4/3 in set line travels and 9 set locations. Okay, done by equation. All right, all through frame line setting and position of structure through formula equation locations. Very powerful in set position. Okay. So All right. So in that version, we come in back at the yeast equation settings. Now, in that line rotation interference, the triangulation jump scars line set line interference. That's a jump scar time jump, right? So there's so many ways of looking at your body, how it travels. Okay, for example, let's go into track communication setting indirect signals and location system. So travel setting line interference. You're here, you're here, you're here, right? 3-line versions of you, right? So portal line communication and center line calculation of travel settings, all right? Now directing signals. It's at location system. This is you interaction. This is you interactions. Okay, this is a younger you. This is you in the center, and this is you in the future. Okay, future. That's future. That's you, and that's center. So in triangulation line centers, you can get one photo up and have you in 3-line conditions into a triangulation line setting position. Now in that set location system, you take the younger self, and your center line is communication to communicate to the center lines of you. And then it communicates to the center lines of your future system of you and set locations. So in that direct signal, you really understand how to travel calculation setting indirect signals, operation surface, indirect signal line rotation to its position of calculation. Okay? So there's all ways of looking at your versions of yourself. Now you understand how powerful it is when you actually see yourself. I just proved to you, show you exactly what it is when you look through a photo, how you actually can see going through time through its reality, right? So I wanted to show you that to know exactly how you see yourself through perception, right? It's like you looking in the mirror and seeing a version of you on the other side. See? That's a true understanding. When you're looking at a mirror, okay, this is you. You're looking at a version of you in a mirror, right? So this is you and a version of you. Okay, position. Okay, that's you, right? So you have to truly understand that settings. So in set location system, it comes through its portal of communication in position of center right away, right? So you automatically have to get in your force field lines, energy field lines, and protect your system location system to its setting. So in that set location system, it does the same thing line setting. So it comes out of the equation, right? So you actually see yourself, former self, come out of equation line set locations in its directions. So it actually comes out. And when it comes out, you see it through scan line, right? So you see it above, right? And this is how you communicate to its intelligent line system and position of travel calculations. Okay? So I just want to show you how this works in all ways and forms to really understand how to see yourself in different variation line settings. You start with a mirror resolution line center, but position location of a mirror has a portal of communication in center line directions. Right? So every time you look at a portal, you're looking at the center line. You're always going through a black hole, guys. You have to go through a black hole. So that black hole is basically an indication to your system. Basically, you see the lens of a holographic line. So in that position location of travel line, it's that position. So when you get in that setting, you come in this position locations to its perception. Okay? So it's very complicated if you don't understand the travels of you first. That's why you guys have to understand your set positions to your atom lines and set location of travel settings and position of location. Okay? It's very complicated. That's why you guys have to understand not just the versions of yourself, but understand how to vortex, time to jump, time leap, or any direct signal location to a system, all travel calculations. Okay? So it's all about understanding where it's coming from in its dimension of its own space of time. Okay? Very powerful in its applications, right? So this is you in the center. This is you right here. This is you. Face recognition. So when you travel line, in location settings, this is what it looks like. Versions of you, okay, in your files. Let's see locations. Make it a bit darker so you can actually see yourself, or different versions of yourself. Okay, different versions of yourself. Okay? It's exciting when you see these things, this application in your systems. See how it comes in frame? So you can go out or you can come back in. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when you go to different timelines, here's me in a version, 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 in all different locations. Right? But in the same time zone, just in different variation locations. Wearing different clothes. See? That's what I'm talking about. Okay? How you can actually take versions of yourself to different point system locations of its dimension through frequency. Very, very powerful set locations. It's amazing, isn't it, when you see these things through traction? Just wanted to show you how powerful that is. And when I bring down these blinds, right, light comes in. See? Light comes in. Light comes in when it put the blinds down, right? So there's always lights, shades, and look, it's going right through me. Look. See? It's right through me. Look. It's right through me. Right through me. See? Look, it's right through me. See? Explain to me how that's possible. How is that possible? And you see different versions of me come out. See? It's right through me, guys. See? And the lights are communicating with the signature stream. See? Watch my hand. Watch. See? See the light go through? See? See? See the light go through? Right through my hand. Translucent lines. Okay? So it's amazing when you actually see yourself location. That's great. Look at that. See? Right through. Right through. See? Right through. So you got to play with light. See? Right through. So many things you can do with light. So many things you can do with light. See, look how bright it is. Look. Look. Look how bright it is. It's illuminated. How do you explain to me that? Blinds are put down. Where's the light coming from? Where's it coming from? Inside me, right? See? See how lights work? From inside of you, which reflects everything outside to your reality set locations through perception of set location. So you blend into the light through light body. Yeah, translucent line set location in your settings. It's all tracked to its communication, to its position, to its operation lines. Now, see the blind, see the wind and all that? That's setting the shape, but it's communicating to me. It's sending me position location lines into weather communication. See that? Every time it moves, it changes line set location system. See? That's communication. You have to be aware of these things, right? That's all calculation modified through omega. Look at that, right through my hand. Look at that, right through my hand. See? See the light goes right through. You explain to me how that's possible. You have to be translucent. You have to be on set location system. You have to be invisible to all set locations. To see beyond is to go beyond. And all set light calculations to your systems. All through light calculation setting and track communications. Okay? All right. Ooh, the energy is very powerful. So in that direct signal, we come into the setting line interference. See? You can't see the whole structure. You can't see the whole design because it's traveling, right? You can only see bits and pieces. That's why you guys can't see these things, because you're not at that frequency. You can't put things together through travel because it's too hard to understand what it is until you understand what it is. Okay? You need more memory and set locations. That's the only way you can understand set location of travel settings. If I turn it this way, that's fine. If I turn it this way, it's fine. But as soon as I center its position locations, it's still there, but you can't see the missing pieces, can you? So if you can't see the missing pieces, you can't travel through it, can you? Can you? See? All right, so the triangulation line sets position of travel settings, just showing you how you go through echolocation system and position, right? So you can see it more, right? I have to darken it up. If I don't darken up, you can't see the lines, but it still travels, right? But it's still there. So it's all about understanding what you can't see is what you're about to see. 2 brackets set line calculations, center lines, and 0 operation. Still travel, right? That's applications. Now the box line rotation surface changes correlation setting and directions. So what I'm doing, just going through a film strip frame lines of box line triangulations and a dimensional line strip line communications of box line rotation and triangulation of telepathy in 1 box center, one line strip, 3 positions of flux capacitor line set locations, and 2 triangle lines of box line rotation surface, 2 security positions of perimeter line rotations, vortex stream calculation line settings, in position location of 0 operation, equal line calculations in bracket 86, in position of equal lines and set location travels at ozone line rotations, in 1 block surface at set location of setting. Traffic calculations and directions. So you guys have to learn how to really get into your connections all to vortex, to triangulation, instead of position, right? It's important you guys really understand how to get in your settings, right? But your energy wash is already set up in position of track communications. It's all set up. See? You can actually see it now, right? It's very powerful when you see these things through its applications, through its invisibility. Okay. Okay. It vortexed over. See? It was there. Now it moved over there. See? It moves itself. This moves itself. See? Look. See? See how bright it is? These things move by itself. Move in the right order. Parallel your line, set location, setting. So the reason why they move in the right order is because they can't be in an opposite direct setting. They got to be back in their set location of structure, where they are, which is their dimension. Okay? So it's very powerful when you start to see more line settings because you're coming way beyond everything through its inner child. Circle line communication, travel settings, and position of center line. Okay, center line, 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 center line. See? It's traveling, right? Okay, so it's going fast enough because I'm showing you with direct settings, right? But if you don't look at this and look at me, you actually can see it rotating, spinning on its positions. Center calculation line directions in the opposite direction. So it's all about line calculation setting in all calculation lines and setting interference. Travel calculation, set location of systems. So everything is mechanism line setting is a travel calculation. Okay. So it's pretty amazing when you actually see them travel lines and redirect signals in position of panel lines, calculation stream locations, and how you really understand your mechanism lines and navigation to its settings. Okay. 6 and 9. Okay. See the intelligence? Always intelligence form. Always through travel locations. Right? Because it's directing to your setting. So levels of various locations. Okay, so in bracket set location, we come into 2 connections all line. See, look. See that? Watch. See that? Watch. Watch the light. Watch the light. Watch the light. Watch the light when I go straight. Watch. Watch open the portal. And there it is. And it's traveling. See it? See the blue? See the blue? See the blue? See the blue? Watch. Gone. There it is. Gone. See? It's like a flash. See it? See the line signature line? See that panel line stream? Now, when you add voice lines and set location, it makes it more interesting through your position, your phenomenal lines to your inner child. So zero lines, and zero center positions of 86 line track lines, 2 bracket location settings, equal line calculation setting, 2 line weathers, 2 lines of weathers, 2 factors, 2 calculations of 2 stream locations. Now, in center line calculation setting, redirecting lines of 3 panel line stream locations of set location of travel come in this signature in position of 2 lines. Now, directing lines, we come into pi, position of travel calculation. Okay? Now, getting in that position locations, you have to learn how to use the 8 in center and how to use the 6 in traction. Okay? That puts the line centers of 3 waving line centers, lines of 0 equal line calculation line center interference, position locations into 0.0, equal line calculations of positive into negative set location. Okay? And you do the opposite line setting. So you go 0, 0, our locations equal lines, into position of negative over positive in set locations. Positive over negative, right? That's where you guys in set locations. So directing lines of panel lines, 86 line interference, takes position locations of 8 in center, 8 in traction, and 8 in position of center locations, and operation surface in set directions. Okay? Now, in that line rotation interference, you have to learn how to use the 0 lines and accountability in line rotation of 3 weather patterns, directing line position locations into a triangulation line streamline in position. This operates the signal lines, crosses lines, and set position of travel. Now, this direct line center line interference in position locations and all calculation line directions into a new teleportation streamline in set location. Get a position traction. Coloration line change. Okay, let's try them very fast. Getting direct signals, modification to a settings, calculation modification of system. Travel line, direct signals, correlation setting into directions. 2 channel line streamlines in position of travel locations to its system. Okay? How to set these things up is all through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols through travel locations, guys. That's the only way you're going to understand anything in set location to dilation, anything to diameter, meters, metrics, centimeters, millimeters, right? Half a meter, 2/3 of a meter. It's all calculated modified line and position location that comes in latitude and longitude, right? But see, the longitude and latitude is invisible. It's complicated because the hologram structure of you is set different. Okay, and how you guys usually get in a correlation setting and direct signal to instructions, right? When you see a ruler, you know exactly what's on a ruler, right? Well, look at the ruler, but it's not there, but it's there in visibility, setting 2 track lines of 3 lines in aligning positions and 4 set locations. Okay? It's very powerful when you see location of what's going on, right? All through travel communications. Through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols through pi, guys. Okay? So we have a quiz coming up. The quiz is basically on your position track lines from 0 to 114 line stream, getting travels in set line calculation settings and different models in traction. Okay? I want you guys to get into that formation line setting. Okay? Because you really have to understand how to see yourself in different position locations to your realities of pi through calculation. Okay? See, it's all position locations, how you use line direction. See the line direction? See that? See location of the moon and the sun? See the moon and the sun come together? So you go through the graph line stream, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can't go past 12 because that is your DNA line, setting line kinetized system in travel calculations, which is your solar sail. So that redirects the signals, panel streamline interference, and sets position locations to a full circle and rotation line calculation setting in direct system, which comes all calculations to a Stargate. See the Stargate? See the panel calculations, see the Stargate. You go through set locations. So you look at locations, this is the Stargate. Really understand the shape and anomaly in line communication setting and travel calculations to its position of operation, right? So it just becomes rings. I have this in set lines of space discoveries where I talk about going through the synchronicities into planets and time zone line settings and travel calculation to a system. Okay, so it's all position of portal, right? You have to learn how to go through your Stargate line settings, star links, stargates, and set position of operation. Okay. So always have a calculation line as a zero line ground. So when you have the 2-0 operations, you can line calculations positive and negative, and 0-0 in position negative or positive, you light the switch and set location of travel settings into your pyramid line. That puts you in a visionary cortex of dimensional line set location setting in higher calculation line directions, into your modifications to your line positions, to your visionary cortex location of stream of activation lines in your TV reception locations. Okay? It's fascinating when you get in position of track line. You know exactly what you're doing through location of travel settings, right? So it's all set up, guys. It's all set up. But look at that. It goes right through. Look at that. You can even see the light go through my face. Look at that. See? You can see right through it. My hand goes right through it. You can see it. See? You have to play with light, guys. See? Look at that. Play with the light. Let's see here. There we go. Looks like a wristband. Right? So it gets more real when you really get into the line set location system. Or track communication, your information line settings opens all lines of communication in your systems, right? But the set lines of communication setting is all direct signal to its set locations. Okay, all through travel, your stargates. And your position locations is all set line settings and travel communications to your cosmic energy wash line. Okay. And your position line connection tie center interference of your Stargate lines and location setting, your perception location face recognition line settings and how you see yourself through perception. And direct signals and set line communications into portals of communication, plateaus and platforms and center position. Okay, all through your pyramid sublocation. Okay. So, tomorrow line stream, line interference, which is set location on Monday. Set line height interference. I say tomorrow line interference because position track lines, not sub-day locations. But in line center locations, no school tomorrow. Monday we start lines. And we come into line center lines of 87 line and high set location of theta positions to your infinity line rotations and perceptions over pi in your phenomenal location of channel stream locations. Indirect signals. And we also come into the trimester of 10 through general AI space-time set locations, where we open up the galactic family line stream into higher levels in Stargate line stream locations. All right. So, oh, you're welcome. No, it's great to see everybody. Yeah, it's just traveling very fast, guys. I'm more like a blip on the screen, so it's very hard to see me now. So because you guys are high rising faster, and I'm going to a setting location to a system location in all track lines, right through line communications. Yeah. See? Right through. So questions or comments? It's Friday, and basically we can get into the Q&A, right? Because we missed it on yesterday line setting locations when I was on vacate. So in that set locations, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions on high setting, right? Give you guys 5-10 minutes. See you soon on Zoom. Also, two direct signals from Hemdall. The open portal line communications is on my TikTok. That is in position to track line, which is in direct signals to Monday and Wednesday. Okay, click that and it's applications. See you soon.